Good morning. Welcome to our daily devotion, Monday, December 14th. Just think this month is half over already. My goodness. Where they say time flies when you're having fun. We're in Matthew chapter 4, verses 23 to 25. What I'm going to be talking about this morning is why we're not as excited as we should be about Jesus, okay? So let me read this in verse 23. Jesus went through Galilee teaching in their synagogues, preaching the good news of the kingdom and healing every disease and sickness among the people. News about him spread all over Syria, and people brought to him all who were ill with various diseases, those suffering severe pain, the demon-possessed, those having seizures, the paralyzed, and he healed them. Large crowds from Galilee, the Decapolis, Jerusalem, Judea, and the region across the Jordan followed him. They were excited about Jesus. First thing I want to bring up is the fact that Jesus was able to teach in their synagogues, in their temples, because he was a rabbi. But he had much more power than just that. Good morning, Roz. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Anna, Marcy, Paul. Good morning, all you troopers that are so loyal. But he had more power than just being able to teach. Because he was God, he was able to do these incredible healings like they had never witnessed before. These healings drew large crowds, which is only natural. Imagine if Jesus had come for the first time today. If we had never heard of Jesus and he came into the world today, what that would be like if he was doing the same things. If he was teaching in our churches and he was healing every kind of disease that you could possibly think of. Imagine today with social media, YouTube would be going viral. It would be all over the world. All over the world would be talking about Jesus. Everybody would be excited. Now, we have the Bible today to prove that he did these miracles. Very few deny that he did them, yet the world doesn't seem very excited. Morning, Grace. Morning, Veronica. Thanks again for making my birthday so special. The world wasn't very excited. Let me ask you, how excited are you when you read this about him doing all those miracles? If we're honest, if we're totally honest, it's probably just, oh yeah, I know he did them. Just kind of ho-hum. We know he did them, but now just imagine now if we were still meeting with our church, with Collision, and Jesus walked into the church and started teaching us with power, with incredible power. And then he started healing those of you with illnesses, those of you with cancer, those of you with look at what he did. Seizures. Frank was there. He'd heal him. Demon-possessed, severe, all kinds of disease. Imagine how excited we would be. Morning, Sharon. But because we don't see it, because we just read about it, it doesn't grab us as much. We need to see them to get the full measure of how incredible they were. It's no different than when we read about Jesus suffering and dying on the cross. We read all the verses about Jesus, how much he suffered, the kind of death that he endured, where it says that he was hanging on the cross and he didn't even look like a human being. They had hit him so many times, they tore the beard off of his face. We hear all that. Good morning, Liz. But it doesn't grab us. But imagine if you had seen all of that. Imagine if you were there on Calvary, looking at him hanging on that cross. Imagine if you had seen the soldiers beating his back raw. Imagine if you had seen him carrying the cross. Ooh, it would have had so much more meaning. This is why. Good morning, Jody. Wow, good to have you. Good to see you, Jody. Jody was in my youth group years ago. She was a trooper. She was a wild one. Listen to Acts chapter 5, verses 40 through 42. It says, Peter's speech persuaded them. They called the apostles in and had them flogged, whipping, the same as what Jesus got. Then they ordered them not to speak in the name of Jesus anymore, and then they let them go. Now listen to this. The apostles left the Sanhedrin rejoicing because they had been counted worthy of suffering disgrace for the name. Day after day in the temple courts and from house to house, they never stopped teaching and proclaiming the good news that Jesus is the Christ. Why? Because they saw all that firsthand. Firsthand, they saw it all. Wow. It's like us knowing that there's a heaven and a hell. Every one of you, if I asked every one of you, say, yes, there's a heaven, there's a hell, but how excited do we, that's my phone ring, how excited do we really get about all that? Huh? It's like, this is what it says. It says that if God ever gave if he ever gave us just a glimpse, it said, of just a little glimpse, just like this, where we just looked in and then it says we would never stop talking about it. And then it said, if he ever gave us a glimpse of hell, just like that, again, we would never stop talking about it. But because we don't see it and we only read it, we just go on through life like there's no heaven and there's no hell. And we have loved ones that we care so much about headed to the wrong place, and we say very little. But if we had witnessed all this, we would be just as excited as what the disciples were. So, let me ask you this. What are some of the things that you've seen in your lifetime that just really strengthened your faith? The things that you saw that just really strengthened your faith. Let me just give a few of mine, and maybe you'll relate to some of them. When I see someone that's tough, far away from God, someone maybe that had been in prison, someone that was a gangster, someone that was just a tough person, and then they meet the Lord. They meet the Lord, and their life just totally changes, just drastically changes. Remember Lauren and Monica that came to our church? I don't know if you were, what he shared one time in church, that he had spent more time in prison than he did out of prison, and that while he was in prison, he spent more time in isolation than he did in the regular system. No, you have to be a bad dude to do that. A bad dude, you don't go into isolation unless you're doing something wrong in the prisons. And well, you've seen enough prison movies to know how hardcore they are. And then we see Lauren today, this humble, gentle, mild man, where his life just completely changed. That strengthens my faith. That strengthens my faith. Another one is Dominic. You remember Dominic coming to our church. Dominic was homeless. Dominic was an addict. His wife was an addict, living on the streets. They were down to like nothing. He had lost all of his family. He had lost everything. And now we see him today, if you're friends with him on Facebook. And here he is, living the gospel, spreading the gospel, not ashamed of Jesus, on fire for the Lord. When I see lives like that change, Grace, your life that changed so much. I can remember when your boys would come to the youth group, and you would stand outside of the side door, and I would try to make conversation with you, but you would not talk. And then slowly I saw you start to change. Slowly I saw you start to change, and then all of a sudden one day you came into the church. And then you gave your life to the Lord, and look, and now you're serving the Lord. You're working with Dandy, and you're back on your feet, and you are an asset to the church. You are an asset to God's kingdom. You are helping him build his kingdom. Wow. That's something that strengthens my faith. Seeing someone completely dedicate their life to the Lord, their whole life. Not just a month or a year, but their whole life. Dandy strengthens my faith when I see him out there and is dedicating his whole life to helping the poor and the needy. James and Angel's parents, that we were blessed to have them come to our church a few times, to know that they are dedicating their whole lives, all their life, to helping others. Sandeep's mother, that now that her husband died, that she continues to she didn't quit. She continues now with the strength that she has to keep on serving the Lord. Boy, that strengthens my faith. Seeing someone die for the Lord, serving the Lord. We got to see Sandeep's father and mother when he came there. He was the one that had the gift of healing, where he was healing different people in our church. Remember, he would have them drink water. As the water went through their system, he was praying for them. And he lost his life suddenly. Serving the Lord. Serving the Lord. Oh, I hope I go out like that. And then seeing Sandeep's healing, seeing his father actually witnessing healing, actually witnessing someone being healed. All of that has strengthened my faith. Now, I'll be honest with you. I know the scriptures is probably as good as a lot of people. And I know all about this, but I just read it. And like with the verse we read today where Jesus went through healing everybody, and you just kind of read it and it's like, oh, okay. But imagine if we had witnessed it. Imagine if we had witnessed it. I'll guarantee you we would be a whole lot more excited about our faith than we are now. How excited are you about your faith? How much are you willing to give of your life to serve the Lord? Something to think about. Join me tonight. Our special message tonight is carrying the crosses that we have in our life. Carrying those heavy crosses that many of you have in your life. We're going to talk about that tonight at 7 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow morning again at 8. God bless you and have a great day. Share this as always, many of you. Please share it so we get the word out to more and more people. God bless you and have a great day.